When we were spitballing ideas for D&D, we thought, well, there's all this love and care and attention for like ramen. How come we can't apply that same love and care that you've seen other cultures do with their soups to the large catalog of Vietnamese soups?
What we're trying to do here is really take Vietnamese food to that next level where the dishes here are from where we grew up eating and then also where we traveled. The menu is the latest of Vietnamese cuisine. We just want to duplicate and basically share to New Yorkers. Dennis growing up in Houston and myself growing up in Virginia. There was a large Vietnamese community.
I didn't realize how lucky we were to grow up in these large Vietnamese populations growing up. I really took it for granted, having the access to all these great Vietnamese products and all these great Vietnamese restaurants. So like moving here and being exposed to a community that doesn't have a large Vietnamese population made me really miss home. We were really fortunate to have a lot of these Vietnamese restaurants that specialize in one particular soup or one particular dish. We were just spoiled rotten by how delicious some of these restaurants were, just because when you're able to specialize in one thing, you can really pour all your heart and soul into it. There's a particular shop in Hanoi that's doing a particular style of pho that none of us had really experienced before. It's cramped quarters, there's no service really. You kind of have to bring your own bowl to your own table and try to find your own seat. It's worth the trip, worth the effort to eat there. It really is one of the most delicious things I ate.
A memorable experience, for sure.
And it was just such a delicious bowl of pho and something unique that I had not seen before. And I knew that we had to bring that back.
I'm getting hungry just listening to Dennis talk about it.
It's the same structure of the pho. It's still a really flavorful beef broth, rice noodles, but they take the added step of wok searing their beef to add a little bit of richness to the soup. So I kind of relate it to like a Japanese tonkatsu, but the broth is very light. They do this interesting thing where they cut their scallions on a sharp bias, which allows you to pick it up with your chopstick. That way you get kind of the crunch. They drop a poached egg in there, so you break the egg and that adds a lot more richness to it as well. Fresh cracked black pepper, which I wasn't really accustomed to eating in pho either, and that's something that we picked up and we try to do to all our soups. Just those little touches were really unique to me, and I knew that we wanted to bring back all that attention and detail that we experienced.
And I haven't seen that iteration in the States, so I believe we're one of the first ones to do the Phở Thìn Hanoi.
Like lots of dry noodle soups in Vietnamese cuisine. First time I was exposed to it was, growing in Houston. There's a Vietnamese restaurant called Phở Gà Khô, but they specialize in chicken pho only. And on the menu, they have a dry style of chicken pho, which is it's a chicken pho, but they add a sauce and they dress the noodles. So it's almost kind of like a pasta almost. And you get a cup of really delicious chicken broth on the side. And there's really no right or wrong way to eat it. You can pour a little of the soup inside the bowl if you like and kind of eat it like a traditional soup.
The first time I had it, for me, it was epiphany. Houston is 100 degrees during the summertime, and I still crave noodles and pho, so this was the best of both worlds where I could have that dish with my soup on the side.
So, with any of these sauces that are rooted in tradition, it's very hard to get somebody to tell you what it is. So ours is very non-traditional, but I think very equally as delicious. We use some jasmine tea to add a little bit of just lightness and fragrance to it. A lot of dried shrimp, a lot of chili, and it's more like a paste than a sauce that we coat our noodles in. It's very reminiscent of the stuff that I ate at home, but it is its own unique dish. And I can't take credit for it either. One of my chefs came up with it, so our name's on the menu, but it was his creation, not mine. Rice paper just being one of those staple ingredients that every Vietnamese household has. It's something you eat on a pretty regular basis. One dish we do grilled rice paper, which we put on a grill, and we kind of make it like a pizza or a quesadilla with it. And it gets topped with egg, ground pork, scallions, hot sauce, and some pickled serranos, and it ends up looking like a pizza. It's a really beautiful dish. It's something that, it's kind of a street snack that we saw, kids eating after school or after they went to see a movie. It's always sold out on the streets. Didn't really see it in restaurants ever.
It originated in Dalat,
Yeah.
which is like a central region.
And we serve it here on a really beautiful dish with some scissors for guests to cut up, which is really fun. But in Vietnam, it's something you just grab on the go, you fold it up, kind of like a taco, and you just eat, and it's really, really tasty, really, really crispy. You get all like the fat from the egg in there, and then whatever meat's in there. But that's one application of the rice paper. The other rice paper is using it fresh, where it's just dipped in water and used as like a summer roll, which I think most people are accustomed to here. And that's taking our bánh xèo, which is like a turmeric rice crepe, adding a grilled sausage, which is a nem nướng, and then putting some herbs, some cucumber, wrapping it up and making a roll with it. I definitely didn't think that we were setting out to let's figure out how many applications we use for rice paper. And I think I was kind of surprised with how, oh man, we're really utilizing every way that you can with rice paper here. And I'm sure if we thought about it, we can come with a million different other ways to do it as well. It's such a versatile ingredient, and it's just permeated all throughout our menu in different applications. What we're seeing right now is there's starting to be a little bit of a Vietnamese community here, which I think we're really excited about.
Which we're trying to build and cultivate.
Yeah, we want to be part of it. We're seeing Vietnamese food and all ethnic foods really being embraced right now in the media. I think what you're seeing right now is a lot of people just like Tuan and I wanting to share our culture, share our food. We have a lot of fortunate to know all the Vietnamese restaurateurs here. We talk about there was this baseline of Vietnamese restaurants that we've had here for a while, and now you're starting to see that next generation of restaurateurs really start to adopt that same philosophy of trying to specialize. And I think you're going to start seeing a lot of that now coming up here in New York as we get more and more attention on Vietnamese food. I think you'll see a lot more people starting to take chances, starting to take risks, and starting to bring the stuff that they grew up eating. And I think they're starting to see a receptive audience here for that. I'm really excited to see what happens next.